Good morning, my name is Mrs. Stemper, and I have co-led the junior mission trip with Mrs. Barnhill for 15 years. And I was expecting her to be making this introduction, so I'm winging it. We used to go to Phoenix. This is our second year going to Syracuse, New York. Why Syracuse? Well, one of the founders of Pura Vida, which is the group that our seniors work with, has taken a church in Syracuse, and so we went to work with that church. Last year and this year, one of the primary things was Vacation Bible School over a weekend. This year, we also wanted to branch out a little. It seems crazy to me because I spent several years just outside of Syracuse. Syracuse is now one of the cities in America with the most food insecurity, especially for children. Also very high levels of poverty because a lot of the manufacturing jobs have left the area. So we went to work in several of the ministries that help that population. And our students are going to talk a little bit about that and also about some of the fun things that we did. Matt Crino is going to start.
I guess I am. Ready to? Stop. Not appropriate, okay. So I'm going to be talking about the overall of the entire trip. So I'll give you the play-by-play, not as much as the heart. You guys went into too much detail for my liking. Thank you very much. But Thursday, we got on the plane. We had to wait forever. Hate plane rides, but we took them. Took all day. 3-hour layover, playing cards, and the Longview game. Don't know what it's called, but Longview kids should know. And shout out Longview. Then Friday, we got back, and some of the people, we spoke with the groups. Some of the people went to the Rise Above Poverty. It was that we were giving away hoodies and other supplies for the children in need there. And I wasn't able to go, sadly. I was busy building a fence with Peter. So, where is she? Wait, Miss Barnhill, where are you? Miss Barnhill, wait. All right. All right, so then over the weekend we were hanging out with the kids. I was the PE teacher, so we ended up playing freeze tag a lot. Ryan was the freeze robot. Where is he? He was the killer freeze robot, undefeated. Then Monday we ended up going to Niagara Falls, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. It's remarkable what you can see when you go underneath the falls. And we got back, and Daniel Villalobos preached a very nice message, so props to him. And then the next big thing that I remember is we ended up going to the soup kitchen, which helps remind you how much that you need to give back to the community. Seeing people in need that don't have everything that we have. I was talking to one of the guys there, his name is Robert, and he actually worked for the soup kitchen 7 years, but now he has to go there because the poverty rate is so bad. And I was talking to him, and he paints stuff for the churches and stuff like that. And yeah, when we got back that day, we had a great message with Timothy, who was the leader, and we all pretty much cried. Pretty much everyone cried about whatever was on their heart, and it was a good spiritual moment. And I'm gonna let whoever's next take over about the spiritual side. Take it, Zach. I take it back. Nate's actually next.
What? Oh, okay. I'm talking about VBS. Oh, Lord. Wait, let me get my phone out. I didn't know I was next. 1 second. Uh-oh. Okay. So, okay. We did a VBS, and it was from kids, 5 to 12. I remember this little kid, this named Kennedy. Oh my gosh, cutest little dark-skinned baby I've ever met in my life. he kept trying to take my shirt off, but it's okay. He couldn't get the buttons undone, you know, with his little hands. And but like these kids, like they grew up in this, like Ms. Snipper said, like the poverty and everything, and like there was like girls coming in the music room, because I was in the music group for the VBS, asking if we could play Ice Spice and Lil Nas X on the TV and everything. But that just shows like what they really live in. Like a lot of their like dads are in jail, or they live with grandparents, and like a lot of the kids were like, why do we have to go home? I don't want to leave, you know? So it was really good that we gave them the experience that we did. And then, not to say that it was boring or anything, but it really was a long time, but it was so much fun with these kids. And I really did see them singing. Like we played like This Little Light of Mine and like the BIBLE and all that. It was so much fun. I did fall asleep twice though, because I did not sleep very well there, because it was 8-degree real feel at one point, and it was horrible. So yeah, it was fun though. I love those kids.
Hi. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about like the worship that happened at Syracuse. Me personally, I think that it was some of the most powerful worship I've ever actually experienced, and I'm sure some of you could probably say that too. But we had this like worship leader, Timothy. He like would work with the worship team specifically just to get it perfect and wonderful for everyone to hear. Every night, our theme song was practically praise. Like all of us had that memorized by now. And another thing we would do before worship every night was something called Big Ups and Gloria Dios, I think. I don't know Spanish, sorry. Gloria Dios? Okay, perfect. But like our Big Ups would be like something encouraging towards someone that we did every day, and then like everyone would participate too. Like, and what? You want to do one now? What's your Big Up, Nate?
That we all did a great job with the VBS and the speakers that are doing great right now. Ready?
Ready? Big Ups! Alright. And then there was something called Gloria Dios, as I said. It's where we talked about how, where we saw God moving throughout the day. And a lot of us would say we saw it during VBS. It was really incredible what some of the kids like told me specifically how they were growing with Christ just because of our VBS. So, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about the leaders there and the adults. So first of all, we have all the chaperones, which thank you for putting up with us for that long of a time. I know if I was adult, I would be like, but it wasn't only the chaperones. We had people who were serving us food every morning and day and night, and it was great because, I mean, they woke up earlier than all of us did to prepare us breakfast, and they stayed late, so I really, I'm thankful for them. And then also, thank you to Mr. Good. Where is he? He was so encouraging the whole entire trip, and we all really appreciate you, so yeah. Yeah, big up. Ooh. And then we also had Miss Woodburn, which I got to know her a little bit like extra because we had a long car ride together where we would just talk and talk and talk. And then she was also one of my leaders for tag time, which was really nice because I got to like talk to her spiritually. And then she gave us a really good message at the end of the trip, which made everybody break down in tears, so it's all good. And then the last person I want to talk about is Timothy Bateman. He was our worship leader and pastor. There were two other pastors, Tony and Reggie, but I talked to Timothy more than any of them. And he didn't talk to me as like an adult or a leader, but he talked to me as a friend. And I got to know him so well. And he helped me through a lot of my questions and worries. So he's probably been one of the most influential people spiritually I've had, besides my parents, of course. Yeah, that's it. So, that.
Right, I finally actually get to come up on stage. Okay, so this trip. Okay. Yeah, it's right here, my guy. It's right there. All right. On this trip, to be completely honest, I came in with very, very, very low expectations. Like, I didn't expect God to move in the way that He so did. And I do believe that my life has completely changed. And I plan to go forward. I plan to go forward with Him with the Spirit. The Spirit moved like a rushing wind, like a hurricane. Not gonna be lying, I'm shaking right now. The first full day, when we were in chapel, Coach Good spoke about how even when we're broken, God still finds a way to use us. Even as a broken crayon, still broken, but He can still use it. He can still draw beautiful pictures with it. I remember getting down on my knees to pray. And I remember just saying, God, please use me in my brokenness. Please use me to help these kids. Help me to be a better friend, be a better son, be a better brother. And I just asked Him to take it and help me with that. On the night that Daniel went to preach, the Spirit spoke through him as well. And I thank Him for it. Helped me through my life and helping me reflect on how I go through life as a Christian, and help me reflect on myself and like, how do I become better? How do I reflect on my bad decisions? And how do I not lead others astray? On the final night, let's just say I had no tears left by the end of the night. Our friend came and filled back up in Syracuse. He held his hand over me, and the Spirit rushed to me. The Spirit rushed toward me like a wind. I gave all my pains, all my struggles, all my fears, all my anxieties to God. I said, Lord, I surrender it all to You. And I was never the same after that. And I pray that as I go forward, as we go forward as a class, that we may go closer to God, and that we may lead others in the way of Christ. Thank you.
More applause to him. So I wasn't actually supposed to be up here, so surprise. My mom actually texted me. She was like, tell me like to come up, and I was like, you don't need to. Like, I'm not speaking, but good thing you came up because I am speaking apparently. But yeah, I had an opportunity to be able to teach in front of my class, and honestly, I have no idea why I even volunteered in the first place, because I had no message in mind. I didn't feel like God was really telling me anything to teach about or talk about. And it was just like a moment's decision after Josh Good's teaching. I just felt like I should. So I went up to Miss Barnhill, and she was like, yeah, there's one day that you can teach is right after Niagara Falls. I was like, dang it, because that means everyone is gonna be falling asleep. And I saw that Miss Stemper fell asleep during my teaching. Sorry to call you out, Miss Stemper. And so, I started praying because, you need a message to be able to teach. So I'm praying and I'm like, God, just show me. I'll just teach whatever you want me to teach. You gave me an opportunity to teach to 40 odd people, first time in my life. Just show me what you want me to teach. And God just at the moment, I felt like He just wasn't talking to me. So I'm panicking, right? I'm we're leaving for Niagara Falls. It's the day of the message. I have not prepared anything. And I know that sounds awful, teaching position, but I'm used to it. Carlos can testify. I'm really bad at preparing messages. And so, it's a bit TMI, but I'm on the toilet, and it's the only quiet place in the whole place because everybody's yelling all the time. And I'm just praying, and I'm just God, just show me. And I text my dad on the toilet, And I asked him for some advice, and he tells me, maybe you should just strip it all down and go back to the basics. And so that's what I did. And so I prepared the message on the way to Niagara, on the way back, and actually I prepared it in a Chick-fil-A. And what I came up with was the gospel mixed in with hypocrisy. That's really intense, sorry. Hypocrisy. And I don't know, I felt that was really what God wanted me to teach to my classmates, even maybe to my teachers. It might have impacted them as well. But overall, what the experience taught me was to just, in everything, trust God. And that's something that he's been teaching me a lot. Sorry, I just choked on my spit. It's something that he's been teaching me a lot, especially recently. Life is tough, and a lot of times life sucks. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, so I'm sorry. Life is pretty bad. And that's the reality of the situation. I can't come up here and tell you that life is all, sunshine and rainbows, because I know all of you have had struggles and tribulations and trials, and that's the reality of life. God never promised us an easy life here on earth, but what he does promise us, if we have a relationship with him, is eternal joy and eternal peace. And we can only have eternal joy and eternal peace with an eternal God that will eternally love us. And to be able to know that, to understand that, is the only reason why I have my faith and trust in God, which is actually a song, which I'm not going to try to sing because I don't have a good voice. But yeah, that's it.
Good morning, guys. As Daniel said, we have surprise visits every now and then. I was not planning to speak either, but I feel like it's necessary to get one, last good speech in. I just want to encourage all of you guys to, even though some of the mission trips, they seem daunting. Look at the heart, imagine a lot of you freshmen didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. But as I continue to go through my journey in high school, I just want to continue to encourage you guys to, no matter how bad the trip looks, no matter how low your expectations are, just do it. It's just so worth it. This trip meant so much to me. I think this was probably my favorite trip by far. It's debatable. Longview is a good one. Looking forward, to you freshmen guys having that. But to you sophomores, if you guys do go to Syracuse next year, I really encourage you guys to go. It was amazing. And for the worship team, pick out a lot of songs, because they were kind of getting old by the end. No offense, worship team, but they were getting old by the end. And I just gotta say, keep doing it, guys. Really. Looking forward to next year.
All right, so I wrote all my stuff in this little book because I'm gonna forget what to say, and also I don't do good reading from my phone. But anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about the relationships we made. But first off, the service projects that I mostly got to work on was I got to work on Storytime for BBS with Sarah and with a bunch of other people, but especially me and Sarah. And I got to go to the soup kitchen, which was a lot of fun. Through that time, we got to make a lot of good relationships, both with the kids, because we got to see every single kid multiple times, 3 times I think, and preach the same thing multiple times, but that's okay. But we got to talk to these kids and make good relationships with them, and just talk to them and teach them. And we also I got to speak to the people at the soup kitchen, because I was handing out water, so I was seeing everyone. But the relationships that I really want to talk about are the ones between our class and between God, right? So, So we really grew in our relationship with God together, and it took Daniel's preaching a little bit. Where'd he go? Oh, hi. Say hi, Daniel. Anyways, so, it kind of took his preaching, and we, late that night in our room, shout out to all the girls, you know who you are, we had this really deep conversation, and we talked for hours and hours, and we were just asking and answering questions the entire night. And it was kind of rough the next morning because we got like 4 hours of sleep. Who's throwing their shoe? Who is that? Who is that? I get distracted really easily. I'm trying. Focus up. I'm trying. Yeah, but we were up really late. Sorry, Miss Barnhill. But we talked for hours, and we grew really close to God. And we got to see Him both through like our conversations and through the world and through our preaching. The preaching was really, really good. Like every single night, I came back and I'm like, hey, is this? I think I asked, who was it? Was it V? I'm like, is it gonna be this intense every single night? Like, did I ask you? Yeah, I asked V. I'm like, every single night, are we gonna have to do this like every night? Like, it was good, but like, it was intense. We did, every night, yeah, we had good preaching every night. And we could see God's work even at Niagara Falls, which, okay, I didn't speak last year, but if you guys know me, you know I'm the one that fell in the lake. So, yeah, you were there, and Izzy was there. Yes, I fell in the lake last year, do you remember? I came back on the golf cart early. Yeah, sorry, but I did that again. But we could really see God's work even then, even when we weren't serving. But we grew close to God together because our gospel conversations went through even way late into the next day. And like we would just talk about anything. We asked hard questions that we had been scared to ask and scared to answer. And anyways, in my professional opinion, that was one of the biggest ways that we could see God working through this trip. But the last thing is I want Sarah to come here because we did our story time verse every single day, multiple times a day, and so we want to tell it to you now. So who holds the mic? What do we do with the microphone? Okay. Yay! There you go. Okay. If you guys remember it, go for it, alright? Ready? Alright. Ready? He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, whether visible or invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. Colossians 1:15-16.
Yeah, so that's what we taught the VBS kids, and you can imagine it can be very difficult to teach kids that one verse. But anyway, one of the many things that I was reminded of this trip was how present and active God is in all of our lives. Oftentimes we overlook the impact of His involvement in our lives, but I saw God move in incredible and unexpected ways on this trip. I saw Him in how we taught the VBS kids, and how we taught them the verse, and how we worshiped with them, how we got them excited about the Word and the Bible. I saw Him in how we worshiped as a class in chapel. I saw Him in how Daniel led our class through a devotion. I saw Him in all of our spiritual conversations about Him. I saw Him in how we all prayed for each other. We had friends and classmates praying over one another. It was just so powerful and beautiful to see that. And there was one song that we sang pretty much every night, I think. It was Trusting God. And one of the verses is, I trust in God, the Savior, the one who never fails. And that reminded me that we have so much reason, we have all the reason to trust in God because He never fails. And then later it says, I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. And so that's an encouragement to, we can trust Him more than once, because He is a God that never fails, and He hears us and answers us. So that's an encouragement to continue to trust in Him. So that would be my encouragement to all of you, is to trust in God, because He never fails, and He hears our prayers, and He answers our prayers, so we can trust Him. Thank you.
So I started with the mission trips in the year 2000, when our first year of our high school, and we went to, with 20 of us, to the Bahamas, to the Adventure Learning Center, and I've been with every class with 1 year exception. And every year God shows up. That's the message. That I want to echo what Peter said, is that if you have any doubts about whether or not to go on your trip, go if at all possible. I know God also shows up in the local trip, and that's amazing too. I'm so thankful for Ms. Pell and Mr. Geeson, who do that, because you know what, missions is right here. It's not, we don't have to go anywhere for missions. So sorry, I always cry when I talk, but it was a blessing again to see. We didn't really know. You know, it was only the second year we'd been here. We had many years in Arizona and kind of had that trip down, and things changed and God took that away. But every time that we go, God shows up. So thank you for all your prayers. That is what really made the difference. And I know that that's what makes the difference in all these trips, is we seek the Lord and then He answers. So thank you.